Welcome back to the final episode of Let's Play Soul Reaver. Now we're running down here. We are in Mobius's temple. Now Mobius has been dead for 1,000 years. But Kain seems to want to be here, and where Kain goes, Raziel is to follow. A majority of Raziel's former vampire brothers have been slain. And now the Elder God has instructed Raziel to head down here because Kain still remains.
My arrival in this miserable age. What trickery is this?
It is no illusion, Raziel, but a glimpse into the currents of time itself.
Wait a second. It looked into the currents of time. That looked into the past when Raziel was first resurrected, as it were. But if Kain was here, he would have seen that. Now whether... no, hold on, here's another one.
These apparitions torment me. Has this all been foretold?
If this was foretold back before this point, if Kain looked at these pictures and saw that Raziel would be resurrected, and he and Kain and Raziel would fight, and the Soul Reaver would be destroyed. The Soul Reaver, the precious weapon that Kain had been using for 1,000 years. If he knew it was going to be destroyed, why would he go and basically offer it up for sacrifice? Why would he have done that?
Impossible. This must be one of Kain's deceptions.
Raziel doesn't want to believe it, that Kain has been watching his every move since before he was even making them. Incredible. Huh. Are there any more of these?
My mind reels with conflict. Does Kain await me moments from now? Or in some century yet to come?
Well, that hasn't happened yet. So now Raziel isn't just seeing images of things that have happened to him in the past, but things that will happen to him in the future. Seems to be rather convinced, though, at this point, that this is the future that he's seeing. It's things that were predicted beforehand. Now, the Mobius time streamer, the member of the Circle of Nine, had the ability to see the future, and I guess this is where that power, where he utilized that power. But then again, we have to ask questions like, if Kain knew this was going to happen, why would he have gone through with it? Same thing with Mobius. If he knew all this was going to happen, then why did he allow himself to die?
This cannot be. What madness does this scene portend? Kain must think me credulous to suffer these lies.
These lies? Oh, he doesn't believe it anymore. Raziel kills Ariel with the Reaver. Ariel, we haven't seen Ariel back since, I don't know, maybe the third or fourth episode or something like that. But she was, she in kind of a way was for the reason why all this stuff was happening, because back in Blood Omen, she was killed about 30 years before the start of the game as the Pillar of Balance, the Pillar of Balance's guardian. She was killed by Mortanius, the guardian of death, and it was eventually it was the grief over her death that caused Newpractor, her lover, to go and concoct the curse, which spread his madness to all the other pillars. And it is that madness that Kain, I would guess, is still suffering from. And of course, all of his vampire children suffered from it because the way he created them was by breaking open the tomb of the Seraphim and spewing parts of his soul into their friggin' their bodies, and that is how he resurrected them.
Is this phantasm a conjuration of my mind, or an echo of future events?
How incredibly non-specific these things are. Understanding the future, not just seeing it, because apparently anybody can see the future, but understanding it and being able to manipulate it in any way has got to be an enormously difficult task. Because we're seeing things like Raziel killing Ariel, Raziel standing there with a red Reaver. It's the future, we can see it, but understanding it is a completely different thing from seeing it. Understanding it is, well, I imagine Kain, if he's really the mastermind behind all of this, at least thinks he understands the future. Thinks he understands what's going on. And his manipulation of events could be him trying to influence the future. If he saw this, and if he felt like he had changed something, maybe that is the reason why he allowed the Reaver to be destroyed. Why he did something that he knew would cause Raziel to be resurrected as a wraith, who would be determined to come and kill him, would kill all of his lieutenants. What a callous decision that must be, to kill all of your children for whatever goal he's after. I guess Kain really held no love for his people, or the world he lived in, for that matter, considering what he allowed the world to turn into. If he had gotten into this tomb that long ago, he must have known how the world would end up. And he made that decision anyway. Lunatic, I tell you.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
No. I had faith in you. In your ability to hate. In your self-righteous indignation.
Lies. You cannot have foreseen all of this.
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never have contained such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Gazing out across the plains of possibility, do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? And as such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. And that is why, when I must sacrifice my children to the void, I can do so with a clear heart.
Very poetic, Kain. But in the end, you offer no more than a convenient rationalization for your crimes.
These chambers offer insight for those patient enough to look. In your haste to find me, perhaps you have not gazed deeply enough. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine a millennium ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. We are compelled ineluctably down preordained paths. Free will is an illusion.
I have been to the tomb of Seraphan, Kain. Your dirty secret is exposed. How could you transform a Seraphan priest into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Can you grasp the absurd beauty of the paradox? We're the same. Seraphan and vampire. With our holy wars, our obsession with Nosgoth's domination, who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
I will not applaud your clever blasphemy. The Seraphan were saviors, defending Nosgoth from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Seraphan were noble, altruistic? Don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours.
You are lost in a maze of moral relativism, Kain. These apparitions and portents. What game are you playing now?
Destiny is a game, is it not? And now, you await my latest move.
Boss battle time. It's time to kill Kain. Okay, we can't do it with this. We need to use the Reaver, so screw this thing. We need to jump up there and attack Kain. The boss battle is going to go along similar lines to the first fight we had against Kain. Only he's a lot harder to attack because he's he's further away. Just keep hit him. You gotta hit him with the Reaver, because your claws or the spear will not do any damage. Unfortunately, I can't really tell where he's gonna be. It's kind of an irritation. But whatever Kain is, he's talking about fate. There we go. Shit, he was right there and I couldn't hit him. Ah, shit, I'm in the spectral realm. Kain won't follow us here, so we're good. As long as you don't die by the way of these vampire race, you'll be okay. And whatever Kain is trying to do, he seems to be quite confident in himself. That, I mean, he must know the nature of Raziel, that Raziel is an individual that can't simply be killed. So, what is he trying to do? What does he think he can do against such a force as that? There we go, I hit him. And by doing that, he'll activate part of that machine. and he will now jump to the higher level. Once up there, it's a little bit harder to get to him to figure out where he's going to be attacking from. So just hang around. He's also going to charge his attacks a little bit slower. Okay, he's not there. Where's he at? Where's he at? If he's up there. Hit him! Ah, I was so close. Ah, wow, he got me. Okay. He must understand that he can't kill Raziel, but it doesn't look like he's trying to. He's just fighting Raziel off long enough to activate this machine he has here. But if that were the case, why did he wait for Raziel to show up? I mean, everything he does is just this weird puzzle trying to understand his motivations for doing things. Back in Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, he was the pawn. A pawn in Mortanius and Mobius's plans to do the various things that they were trying to do. It seems to be, though, that things have changed at this point, and he has become the mastermind. The guy who is controlling fate at this point, trying to manipulate everything into his goals. Okay, I don't know where he is. Where is he going to attack me from? Okay, he attacked me from that side, so I'm going to make a blind decision and assume he's attacking from this side. Yeah, I was right. Haha.
You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Be warned, Raziel. Once you cross this threshold, you are beyond my influence.
What the hell?
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah, welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny. Where time is but a loop, a loose stitch in the universal cloth, a streamer might seize upon a chance, a fatal slip, and plunge the fate of planets into chaos.
Whoa, that was the end. That was so completely unsatisfying. Also, that was that weird bug that was happening there. That yellow dude wasn't supposed to be yellow. I'm hoping you realize that. That yellow guy was supposed to be Mobius, the time streamer. Mobius has been dead for 1,000 years at this point in the game, or more. Maybe it was more than 1,000 years. I imagine it was more. But he was decapitated by Kain. He didn't survive that. Let's just get that straight. He didn't survive that. What Kain did when he activated that machine was he jumped back in time. Now, this is not the first time that we've seen a Legacy of Kain game use time travel. Back in Blood Omen, Kain traveled back in time in order to kill William the Just before he could turn into Nemesis, a genocidal tyrant that was destroying the world of Nosgoth, pillaging cities, killing people left and right. Kain went back in time accidentally, but used the opportunity to kill him and change the past. But that changing of the past was something that Mobius understood. He understood what would happen if Kain changed the past. He could see the future. Regardless of the fact that Kain was changing the past, Mobius knew what would happen when he did. As though, all the different possible eventual outcomes of the different events that happen in the past. If something changes, the butterfly effect, it doesn't change everything to Mobius's eyes. It may change the world, but Mobius understood the differences. And that is why Mobius persuaded Kain in a way to go back there and kill William the Just. But now we are maybe seeing something weird that happened here. Kain, being aware of what would happen in the future and in the past as well, by being in this room, found a way to travel back in time. Who knows where he went at this point, but Raziel followed him, and he was caught by Mobius sometime in the past. Now everything is starting to seem kind of clear. I was kind of suspecting that Kain was the Chessmaster in this. He was manipulating Raziel to do this, that, and all this other stuff. Kill off all of his vampire brothers and all that kind of stuff, and then come after Kain. That's why Kain was waiting for Raziel to show up in that room, so Raziel would travel into the past with Kain. But Mobius has added an extra wrinkle into that. Had to ask the question, why did Mobius allow himself to be killed if he knew the outcome of the events that he set in motion? Well, maybe Mobius was the guy who was pulling the strings after all. He knew he would die, but he had some other thing in mind. He knew he would die beforehand. He knew Kain would take over the world and lead it to shit. He knew Raziel would be resurrected, and he knew he would be doing all this stuff and then get traveled back in time. That is a hell of a lot of complexity to go and jam on at the end of this game. But we have to ask two questions. What is Kain up to? And what is Mobius up to? And what was the Elder God up to? Well, obviously the Elder God was not... spoiler alert, Elder God was not lying about his intentions. He wanted the vampires gone so souls could return back to the Wheel of Fate. That's all he ever really wanted to do. But, it's just, there's a lot of people in play. We saw the future, but we were not able to interpret it because there just was not enough information for us to really wrap our heads around. And Kain actually sort of chastised Raziel for not being able to understand the future as he had seen it. Okay, there are a few other games in this series. Soul Reaver 2, which I just have to play at this point because we have to see what happens next, don't we? Oh yeah. There's also Blood Omen 2, which chronologically takes place before Soul Reaver, but it's a little hard to explain why I couldn't play that next. And then there's Defiance that happens after that. But this is the end of Let's Play Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did in fact enjoy this, I have a number of other games that I've played through on this YouTube channel, and I hopefully am playing Soul Reaver 2 by the time you see this episode, and I can start uploading those episodes as well. Thanks for watching, everybody, and goodbye.